Sergeant Dorsey Riddle with the Conroe Police Department. I'm here today. First of all, I'd like to say that we're very happy. We did locate the child about 15 minutes ago, and the child is returned home. We don't have a lot of details yet. We're interviewing the child as we speak regarding the situation, and so we don't have any great details about what occurred and happened while he was away from his mom for the last 2 days.
Was he okay?
Physically, he is fine at this time. Like I said, we're performing the interviews right now, so we don't have a lot of information about what transpired the last 2 days.
What about the suspect you have? Is there somebody who has been arrested?
Somebody has not been arrested. We do have a person of interest, and that would be the person that I sent earlier today.
Cornelius Alex?
Cornelius Alex goes by the name Chiquita Joseph. We were referring to her as Chiquita Joseph because that's what the description that she identifies herself with. But it is a male, a 40-year-old male, a suspect, Cornelius Alex. And I shouldn't say suspect, I should say person of interest at this time.
Person. Do we know where that person of interest is right now?
We do not.
What's his connection to the family of the child?
Chiquita made friends with the family over the last few months and became friends with the family, assisted the mother with some taking care of the children and that sort of thing, spent a lot of time with the children, and that's how they became to know each other through church. And this last weekend, Chiquita had 3 of the children over the weekend for an extended period of time. The mother became concerned because she wasn't receiving updates and phone calls about the children and called and asked her to bring the children home. It appears that there were some excuses as to why she couldn't bring the children home, but eventually on Monday evening, approximately 5:30, 5:15, she met the mother at 242 and dropped and exchanged the children. At that time, it was believed that the mother kind of intended to end the relationship between the children and Chiquita, and this upset the 12-year-old and Chiquita. When the child returned home, the child requested to leave. The mother refused and said he needed to stay home, and within a few minutes, she began to look around and he had left the home.
So you feel like there was a relationship that had developed, relationship I use as a broad term, between the 12-year-old and the babysitter, if you want to call him?
I wouldn't call it a babysitter. What I would say to you is that the relationship that we've discovered, that we've learned about today, had some secretiveness to it that caused a little bit of concern and alarm. And that was why the Amber issue was issued today.
Would you ever be looking at this as a runaway?
Initially, we were looking at this as a runaway, and that's why the Amber Alert wasn't issued until today. That was because of information that came into us within the last few hours today, and that's why we issued the Amber Alert, because initially it was a runaway.
I'm sorry,
So
did
how
you
and
say
where
how
was
you
the child?
located this child?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, how and where was the child found?
The child actually, the child has been in somewhat contact with his mother over the last 2 days. Very brief. Mom, I'm okay. I don't want to come home. I'm mad. You ended a relationship that was important to me. Making those kind of remarks. The child called the mother approximately 30 minutes before he returned home, saying he would be returning home, and he ended up walking up to his home.
So he just came home voluntarily?
Right, right.
So essentially, this is a friend of the family who was caring for the children on an occasional basis, left the children, I'm not sure I understand it correctly.
Right, and I would lose the term, you really use the term caring. I think more that she was a friend of the family and spent time with the family and the children, not necessarily caretaker of the children.
Is there a belief from a law enforcement standpoint that Chiquita had ulterior motives for developing the relationship with the children, i.e. a sexual relationship, something to that effect?
We would like to talk to her about that.
And what's the process right now trying to track her down?
If she would like to come to the police department, which we've requested several times in the last 2 days, and she's refused, we'd be more than happy to speak with her.
I mean, is she missing? I mean, or is it?
We don't know where she is at this time.
Don't know where she is.
Right. Our last contact with her was early this morning.
And how long was the child missing again?
Monday evening at approximately 6 p.m. until about 15 minutes ago.
Can you repeat again? He was upset because the mother ended the relationship and he ran away from the house with her or him?
We don't know that. We're interviewing the child, and I can't specify what relationship he was speaking of when he said that she ended a relationship that was important to him. That's all he said, but that was the assumption made by the
But
mother.
that's when he disappeared, when he was upset about this situation and then he left the house.
Well, we won't know that till after we're done interviewing the child, yes.
Could Chiquita, face charges right now?
Yes, he could, but, or not, but we won't know until we finish our investigation.
What kind of charges could she face, I'm sorry?
Well, it could be as simple as harboring a runaway. It could be nothing. If the child hasn't been with this person, although we would believe that the child has been, or if it depends on what transpired during the 2 days that the child was gone.
What was the reasoning for issuing the Ember alert? You said that you learned new information earlier this morning.
The relationship that we found out was a lot more involved than we initially believed, and especially when we found out about secretive aspects of the relationship that made us uncomfortable.
Like they were just talking to each other behind his mother's back? Or?
Right, and talking on applications, phone applications. I don't want to identify which one that the mother was unaware of. Even though the child doesn't have a cell phone, he was able to access a cell phone and use the application to speak with her. And then we also spoke with other people and children who gave us information of interchanges that they had that we thought would cause some alarm.
So it's across the line. It seemed to be some sort of romantic, sexual thing. Is that what?
Well, we would like to talk to them about that, but there were just aspects of the person of interest, her interaction with him, how much interaction they had, how much more interaction they had than the mother believed that they had, that sort of thing.
In a broad sense, from a law enforcement standpoint, can you kind of give advice to parents, or what somebody can learn from seeing this story? You know, a child going with or developing a relationship. I mean, what's advice to parents right now?
I think it's the same advice that we always give, is to really know who your children are spending time with. And even though you may meet them at a place that you feel is safe, such as school or church or in the neighborhood, it may not be as safe as you believe. And to really know that person and to know what your children are doing and what they're involved with, and also just speak to your other children, because the other children in the home gave us some information that the mom may not have known that kind of raised some concerns.
What's the best way
And the
to-
other thing I'd like to say is that the mom did have some indications in the past that made her a little uneasy about certain things. And so the biggest thing that I would tell parents is to trust your instinct and trust your gut about your own children.
Was there a concern that the suspect, Chiquita, just running a quick criminal history, had arrests for prostitution and weapons charges?
I can't really speak to her criminal
Okay.
past, but obviously that was something that we looked at in the investigation that caused some concern.
What's the best way to characterize transgender man? I mean, it's a bizarre story in terms of the picture you shared as a man dressed as a woman and with makeup and.
I guess what I would do is I would put that question back on you guys since you're the media. So why don't you tell me what the best terminology is to use?
But it's a man dressed as a woman who likes to dress in women's clothing. Is that accurate?
I would say that this is a man who is living as a woman.
Living as a woman.
Yes. So it's more than just dressing in the clothing. So yes, everybody in her world believes her to be a woman.
Who lived in Conroe? Did the child live in Conroe? Did the family live in Conroe?
The child lives in Conroe,
Okay.
and the person of interest lives in Houston.
Right.
Where do we go from here?
From here, we're going to interview the child, and continue to interview the other children in the home, and we would really like to speak with our person of interest, and maybe she can come in and we can clear this up relatively quickly, but we just need her to come in and talk to us for a little bit.
One last question. Might help us if you spell your name.
Sure. First name is Dorsey, D-O-R-C-Y.
Mm-hmm.
Last name Riddle, R-I-D-D-L-E.
And the Q is silent? Thanks.
Anything else? All right. You guys have a good day.
Thank you.
Appreciate it very much.
Is there the number that you put